Franchise association could have benefited the curse of La Llorona. When you look up the curse of La Llorona, there's no spot on the movie's page noting its place within the Conjuring universe. The website is if the studio had sold La Llorona as an official Conjuring movie, would the decision have paid off more on opening weekend? Sure, it can. Here are the domestic opening weekend attendance numbers for the franchise. If seen, some claim Warner Brothers didn't market La Llorona as a Conjuring movie because of its lesser quality and poor reviews, as well as their expected lower box office. Long-range tracking regarding reviews, though, La Llorona didn't even receive the worst. That be the Nun, La Llorona didn't have the worst audience reception, either. According to Cinema, we can't know for sure if La Llorona would have performed even better with franchise-driven marketing. We can't tell. Speaking of franchise associations, in other box office news from the weekend, Captain Marvel shot up a bit to return to the top 5 thanks to audiences wanting to finally catch up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe installment or see it again before the release of Avengers Endgame this next weekend. 7 weekends in, despite dropping to second place after a couple of weekends on top, Shazam continues to have legs, even if it's sure to stay at the bottom of the DC extended universe as far as the franchise's grosses go. Not all super hits outside of the top 10, Under the Silver Lake managed the best for screen attendance, indicating that distributor A24 probably shouldn't have dumped it. Dame Judi Dench, here are the weekend's top 10 titles by the number of tickets sold with new and newlywide titles in bold and totals in parentheses. All non-forecast box office figures saw. Christopher began writing film criticism and covering film festivals for a zine called Red, back when a zine could actually get you Sundance press credentials.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.